This episode of the Ballcard Show is brought to you by our friends at Pristine Auction, where items are guaranteed authentic for the entire time you own it. Not just at the win, not just while the cert holds. If you own it, Pristine stands behind it. For a limited time, take advantage of $20 off your first auction when you register with the code Ballcard. Win the real thing, Pristine Auction. Hello and welcome to the Ballcard Show, the sports podcast.
For the Sports Collector.
I'm Jason Otero.
I'm Gary LeMaster.
Season 6, episode 27. Your boys are coming off of a weekend without a show.
It was...
How do you feel about it?
I was a little bored, but also it was nice to relax as much as I'm capable of.
Listen, I was rotting on my couch.
I think that Krista would have liked me to be rotting on my couch. I limited myself to about 3, maybe 4 hours of work each day, which for me is a big limit. People don't understand that, but I don't know what to do with myself. So I default to working.
Hey, by the way, big upgrade there in the studio, bud.
That's all the wife.
Yeah.
That was my Father's Day gift. She was like, I'm sick of looking at your bare
what
wall.
What size are those clown shoes in the background there next to the brewer's house?
Those are going to be 16s in all likelihood.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
got some big canoes on my boy.
I got some big feet. Somebody said something in the Discord the other day about the disparity in our sizes, and it happens at shows a lot. People are like, oh, you're bigger than I thought you were. Like, I'm not small.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, no, I watched some soccer, some football.
Yep.
Now that the US laid an egg completely, like they didn't even want to be there, and we had that embarrassing moment with the good news is I don't need to worry about soccer for another 4 years. Like I gave it a good run. Now everybody's saying, "Oh, you don't watch." I probably watched 10 matches. I really like the Cape Verde Argentina match. That was a fantastic match. I watched so many matches where nothing happened for 90 minutes. Y'all love that. I don't understand. Saw a shootout. That was good. But I would love for the US to be. I'm not used to our teams not being like elite.
It's just, we're just not. Like, we got to the round of 16. I was a little surprised we got that far. I did not anticipate us winning there, but if we had gone on to the round of 8, we would have got a mud hole stomped in us.
Like, I think it could have been a 1-0 match. There was some goofy stuff, but the weird thing was when Belgium started moving the ball around, I was like, oh, that looks a little different than when we did.
Like, that's the thing about soccer. I think the people that love soccer, I watch more soccer than you do, and I don't watch a ton.
Right.
But it's called the beautiful game for a reason. Like, there are, like, when you zoom out and you just look at it like a chessboard.
Yeah.
It is really interesting to watch, although some of the rules are stupid. The way that the offsides rule is administered is, and always will be, wild to me.
Yeah. Did you see the meme about that got real popular this cup? It just says, someone explain offsides to me. And it just says, something cool happened. That's offsides.
That seems right. It's like, as a former football player and football coach, like, the entire idea is to get behind the defense.
Right.
Like, that's the idea.
Yeah.
And in soccer, it's like, no, we got to.
How do I stay guarded?
Yeah. How do I stay guarded at all times? It's just like, it's weird.
I've been enjoying all of Erling's content. That's been great.
Oh, he's a tank, man.
Yeah,
he is fun to watch.
He's fun to watch. That's been fun. But anyway, all right. So watched a lot of that. My wife and I binge watched a reality show about travel nannies for the wealthiest 1% in Ibiza. So we had that kind of a day Saturday. So basically I'm refreshed. I'm recharged.
Good.
Okay. This week we got a couple shows coming up. Before we do that, Gary, I'm going to let you kick us off with a little bit of show and tell, something that we've been trying to do on a regular basis.
Yeah, just
show us
cool
a few
stuff.
cool ones we picked up this week.
Yeah, this is just some cool stuff. None of these cards are over $1,000, but they're neat. First one, 2019 2023. I thought it was 2019 for some reason. 2023 Allen and Ginter stained glass mini Shohei Ohtani in a PSA 9. If you're not familiar with Allen and Ginter, the stained glasses come in the rip cards that sometimes are on the top of a hobby box as a box topper. And so they're pretty SP. It's a really cool card. And Ohtani stuff, we know what the market is. Another one that we picked up, we actually picked up at Columbus Card Fest on the first day. Leo DeVries, number 2 prospect in baseball for the A's. The kid is an absolute dog. This is his Gladiators Bowman Chrome Auto numbered to 25 and a PSA 10. And then last but not least, one of the GOATs. We will always buy his stuff, especially if it's numbered and graded, because it just moves so easily. 2022 select tie-dye field level Barry Sanders numbered to 25 in a PSA 9. It's a pop 1. I don't think there are any 10s. Hasn't sold in a couple of years. The kind of stuff we like.
All right. Was that a case hit then? There at the end?
No, just a field level tie-dye.
Field level tie-dye.
Yep, not a case hit. It's not a zebra or a tiger or anything like that.
Oh, good. I almost accused you of hoarding case hits.
We don't need to feed the case hit Gary narrative, even though we had a buy this week that was nothing but case hits, a few $1,000s worth. So
yeah, if you catch us in Xenia the day after this episode drops, we should have some case hits sitting out if you're not too late to the party. Those do sell pretty quick usually, but the names are starting to matter a little bit more on that than just the parallel.
Just existing.
Xenia this week, Eastgate next week. Then we'll be just 2 weeks out, for a little over a week out from the National coming up. Gary and I will be up there Tuesday through Saturday. So be sure to say, hey, if you run into us, friends, enemies, trolls, all are welcome. All are welcome. Bonus points if you try to sell us your Kurt Angle cards.
Correct.
Bonus points on that. Okay. Before we jump into this, so today we have a real fun top 10 list. We haven't done this in a minute. We're going to do the top 10 do's and don'ts for dealers. That's called alliteration. Do's and don'ts for dealers. You see what I did there?
Triple D.
That's coming up in just a minute. But before we do that, speaking of the National, we're heading up to Delaware, Ohio. Keith Newhart Cards for this episode of Shop Talk.
Hi, this is Keith at Newhart Cards, and this is Shop Talk. We're going to continue our little mini-series here. We're talking about the National. I think when this video drops, we'll be about 3 weeks out. So just kind of wanted to talk about another thing that we bring, which is our prices mark / value boxes, right? So value box stuff is stuff that we accumulate pretty much the whole year. So we're going to have thousands and thousands of cards. So what do we do with those? So basically what we do is every single value box card that we have is in a penny sleeve, it's in a brand new top load, and then we're going to do a cheap little promo here on Elevate Supplies. They do a great job of doing their fitted sleeves on their top load, so that's really nice, really crisp, fits really well in 2 rows. So we're going to do this. We've been working on prepping those the last couple of weeks. We don't price anything for the National until right before we leave. So prices mark stuff, we'll start pricing that probably next week because the $3 to $100 stuff doesn't tend to move as much. So we'll price all that out in the next couple of weeks, get them counted, get our inventory numbers and everything ready to go. So that's what we do with our prices mark. Always super popular. Again, 3 to 100. You're not finding your base cards in there. You're not finding your Donruss, JJ McCarthy rookies. It's refractors, low numbered stuff. 80s and 90s kind of key rookies, 60s and 70s vintage. So a little bit of everything. Come to our booth, check us out. If you have any questions about doing prep work or what you're looking for at the National, please reach out to us. This has been Keith at Newhart Cards, and this is Shop Talk.
Here at the Ballcard show, when we decided to partner with Pristine Auction, it's because it felt like such a no-brainer. Pristine has gone out of their way to make sure that the entire collector experience is as transparent and seamless and authentic as possible. They offer fast-paced live selling auctions where every sale sets a recorded comp. They offer 10-minute auctions where 10 lots go up and you can bid on them for 10 minutes. And they offer traditional daily and weekly auctions as well, if that is more your speed. Most importantly, every item you purchase from Pristine, they stand behind and guarantee to be authentic for the entire time that you own the item. For a limited time, when you register at Pristine and sign up with the code Ballcard, you'll get $20 off your first auction win, as well as 3 months of gold status as a consigner. Win the real thing. Pristine Auction.
All right. Thanks, Keith. Appreciate it. Be sure to catch those value boxes up there. Gary and I are going to try to hit those right upon opening. So make sure you get there early. Get there as quick as you can.
Don't beat us there, though.
Don't beat us there. You know, stay away from any boxes we may be interested in. But value boxing at the National is one of our favorite pastimes. We're not going to stop it now.
Now, I can do it for 10 hours a day, 6 days in a row.
Yep. He doesn't get bored. He doesn't get bored. All right. You ready to jump into this top 10
Let's
list?
do. When you texted me and said, hey, I had an idea for this week, and you told me what I was like, this is going to be awesome. I'm really excited about it.
We're hoping it adds a little bit of value for those of you that are dealers. One thing that's really a common occurrence lately is people saying, hey, I just set up for my first show, or I've been listening to the podcast and it really helped me get into setting up as a dealer, or now I have this PC. Thanks for helping me learn how to sell cards, price cards, all that kind of stuff. So this is going to be more in that lane. If you're a dealer, maybe you've been a seasoned veteran, some of these will resonate, give you a little smile because you know it was painful learning the lesson. Our pain is your gain today. So we're going to go through our top 10 do's and don'ts. I'll kick the first one off, and then Gary, after I do the do and don't, then we can kind of hash out each one of them.
Yeah,
okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Top 10 do's and don'ts for dealers. Number 1, prepare. Price your stickers, display signage, be really available to the customers, have change for them if they need it. I know this one sounds silly, but do prepare. Don't wing it. Don't act annoyed when people are asking you for prices because you didn't price things. Don't be scrambling for top loaders the moment something sells because you don't have any. Be prepared. Gary, what do you have for this? Number 1, to do.
Yeah, to do. You nailed them right there. Like, that's the basics. If you are setting up at a show, respect your potential customers enough to provide them with an experience that they can feel good about when they leave their table, when they leave your table, whether they buy something or not. It was shocking to me when I first started setting up at shows. It was shocking to me how many dealers didn't have change. Like, just go to the bank the day before. You don't need to take thousands of dollars for change. Get $300 worth of change, some 20s, some 10s, some 5s, and some 1s, and you're good. And if you don't have any dollar boxes, don't even worry about the 1s, as long as you're not gonna, try to sell things at $37 off of a $40 tag.
Right.
So don't even worry about that if you don't need to on 1s, but have change. Pricing cards, we've talked about this ad nauseum. Nothing turns off most customers faster than not having prices on your stuff.
Or at least prices available, right?
Yeah.
There are some showcases where the cards are bigger and you don't want people shopping stuff out. And so they'll say, what about this card? Know what you want, know why you want it, be able to articulate it.
If someone
asks sell more cards that way.
Yes. If someone says, hey, how much is this card? If the first thing you do is pull your phone out, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple. Like, you should know what you need for your cards. And yes, I know the market changes day to day, and you might have priced it last week. Listen, man or woman, when you put the price tag on the card, if you got full tag for it, you were happy with that tag.
Yeah.
And if the market changed to somebody else's advantage, cool. Who cares? They'll be back, right? Yeah. Like, you're building a business.
Yeah.
And then like Jason said, on the don'ts, winging it is never going to be a recipe for success, no matter what.
And honestly, a common reason that people don't price is they just say, well, it just takes too much time. And that's why, I'll remind you, that's why vendors tend to ask to pay less than a card could sell for, because there's work involved.
Yes.
And if you multiply that over a 3-row box, that's a few hours of work just right there.
At least.
So just think through, am I prepared? If you were walking up to the table, do you see what you need to see? Do you know what you need to know? You have pricing stickers on it. Is your display clean? Are you doing a tablecloth? Are you not? My first 5 shows were just cards, raw dogging, laying out on the table. It's fine, but just be as prepared as possible. So be prepared. Don't wing it.
Yep.
You do number 2, Gary. Can you read that?
I can. I got my glasses on. We're good. Number 2, do Be friendly, ask questions, and start conversations. Don't be pushy, push cards in someone's face, or try to hard sell people on things. Um, what do you
Yeah.
what do you have there?
So the one that stands out to me is obviously be friendly, duh, no brainer, but you will be shocked the demeanor at most shows. Um, so that was kind of part of the joke with that skit we did with Cosmic of like the cold dealers that are smug and just never are gonna, be friendly, ask questions. Very different asking a question than like trying to shove one or someone around. Now, there's a borderline question that we ask from time to time if a show is slower, but you even have to be careful of this. It's anything you're looking for today. If I have it, I might be able to point you in the right direction. That's salesy. To some people, they're like, oh, thank goodness. Yes, I'm looking for Troy Aikman inserts, right? To some, they're going to be like, oh, I'm just browsing. And that's all you need to know in that moment.
Yeah.
I've seen the alternative. I've seen the alternative where somebody's like, oh, that person has a Braves jersey on. Grab the Chipper Jones auto and hang it out over the table in their face. It's just a very slim percentage of people that want to be interacted to that way.
Right.
Like, just take the emotional component out of it. Like, out of 10 people, it's the minority that want to have a product put in their face and say, hey, here's what you need because you like this team, right? That's
Yeah.
a tough one. On slower shows, you're going to find vendors doing that more, but don't be too pushy. And then what do you think hard selling means, Gary?
I think that kind of to what you were just talking about, and I'll be really frank, that's something that I struggle with, not because I feel like I'm trying to sell, but because I get excited about some of the cards that I have. And I find myself doing it, especially with our regular customers, people that we consider friends that are peers. If I've got a card and it falls into an era or a product that I know that they like, I'm excited to show it to them. And
Right.
I'm just like, hey, check this thing out. And even that can come across the wrong way. And there's a delicate line too between being pushy, hard selling, like trying to shove something down somebody's throat. And sometimes people struggle with the line between that and just being friendly. Like,
Right. Yeah.
there really is a middle ground between sitting behind your table and not saying anything to anybody until you're spoken to first. And which isn't, most people at least want to be greeted. We try really hard when somebody comes up to the table. Hey, how's it going? If there's anything you want me to pull out for you, just let me know. If I can help you with anything, let me know.
And part of that for us is we unless we are being completely slammed, we're standing up. We're usually not seated. If I'm sitting down, there's a line for buying and I've got to work card ladder to get that stuff moving. But
or my knees have given out after 4.5 hours of standing and I just standing
on concrete.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one though. But the hard sale is like, so maybe like in the scenario you bring up, Gary, maybe one of the things for the dealers out there, they're like, oh, how do I do this? Where they don't feel like I'm being pushy, but I want them to see a cool card is, hey, you want to do some show and tell? Hey, can I show you a cool one I picked up?
Yeah.
Just leave it there. If somebody is like, they'll tell you if they think you're trying to sell to them without ever saying words.
Oh yeah. Body language
will move back. They'll look at it quickly, hand it back. So if you're nervous about that, then just say, hey, I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I thought you'd get a kick out of this.
Yep.
And then sometimes it's like, hey, how much you want for it? Right. All right. Number 3. Go ahead.
Oh, I was to say just one last point on number 2 in the do's. That's really important. And we kind of glossed over it. Ask questions. People are way more interested in talking about themselves than hearing you talk about yourself or your cards. When somebody
both are bad at this.
Yeah. When somebody shows interest in a card, ask them questions. Hey, what do you like about it? Did you used to collect these when you were a kid? Like, get people talking about this hobby because it should be something that they're passionate about. And if you do that, you will be shocked at how much better your not only interactions will be, but your sales numbers will be.
Yep. Okay. Number 3, respect the promoter, their time and their effort. Do that. Do respect them. Don't blame them for the results on shows with foot traffic.
Yep.
Now, I put a qualifier in there.
Yep.
I'm not saying shows that we have all been to shows where it was very clear the promoter only cared about selling tables and little to no effort went into the community, getting people in. They usually are very uninterested in working the room during a show. They're not asking vendors how they're going. They're very defensive to any type of suggestion, reaction. But by and large, most of the time, those guys are off in the sunset because enough dealers eventually say, I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
A large majority of your promoters did their job.
Yep.
They brought people in the room. They promoted the show. It was set up on time. You had what you were told you were going to have. Respect the time that's put in that, because I promise you, a show that went bad for everybody that was a dealer was not a good show for the promoter either. I promise.
Right.
I promise that they share a similar feeling. What do you have, Gary?
No, I think that it's really important to anytime that something doesn't go the way you wanted it to go, the very first thing that you should do is look at yourself first. So to Jason's point, if we do a show and there's a good amount of foot traffic, and we underperform against what our expectations were, the very first thing we should do is not ask, well, why didn't the promoter do X, Y, or Z? It should be, what did we do wrong? Were we overpriced?
What do we check? What do we check when that happens?
Yeah.
We check our stickers.
Yes.
Right.
Did we have the wrong stuff for the room? Did we choose to go to a show that was really well attended, but was 80% Pokemon tables?
Right.
Like if we chose to do that.
Or it was a heavy repack wave on the front end for case hits, and we're like, no, I'm not giving these to you at 85%. Yep. And then after that wave, it was a lot of people buying $30 to $50 cards. That's going to happen. That's not the promoter.
Yeah.
That's
now
not
it's
the
also
promoter.
important though, and this is something that if you are doing this in any way, shape, or form, that it's not just recreational for you. Just because you want to respect a promoter's time and their effort doesn't mean you don't take notes. It doesn't mean you don't, after the third or fourth time at certain shows where it's been the same results every time, and you've looked at yourself and said, no, I really don't think it's me. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with saying, okay, this one's going off the list. Maybe I'll go to that show and walk and buy at it, but it's not a show for us to set up and have realistic expectations. If you're setting up at a 60 table show in a town with 12,000 people in it, your expectations should be set properly. The amount of people at that show that walk through the door for it to be a well-attended show is probably 200 or 300 people. If 200 or 300 people come to that show, that was a great attended show. Like it was well promoted.
Yep.
And well promoted for that show in that town for that size. Just because it didn't have 10,000 people at it, that's not the promoter's fault. They did the best they could with what they were trying to do.
Most of the time, the people complaining about the promoters have the most overpriced stuff. That's one thing I've noticed.
Or they just have the wrong stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And many times those two come together.
Yes.
The wrong stuff at the wrong price.
The table full of retail non-numbered parallels at release day prices 2 months later. Yeah.
This is perfect for number 4.
Okay.
Do pay attention to trends. Don't lean on comps from cold cards or out of trend sets. Yeah. This is a, what should we call this? Something that everybody has to go through. What's the word? I'm like a rite of passage for vendors, right? Yep. This happens to all of us. A product was working. We got a feel and a rhythm for setting up at shows. It's football season. I'm going to run this football product. It did really well. Oh no. The rookie class stinks. Oh no, there's a new shiny parallel. Oh no, the uptowns are not downtowns. They are not the same thing, right? People have run through this where something that was hot for a minute isn't hot forever. A player that people were very excited about, they're no longer excited about. A card may have a really strong comp last football season, but that player got traded and they're not producing, right? And the product loved him. Who was the one that was all over select? I didn't see more. Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's kid.
Yeah.
Like so many swoosh RPAs, and like it was definitely somebody receiving the hobby love. There may be some relevant costs, but I don't think, guys, is he playing?
He's out of the league.
He's out of the league. So I think sometimes we get married to a set or a parallel or a trend, but know that trends change. Right now, what are we looking for, Gary? What's the hottest stuff right now?
$50 to $200 stuff of the right names.
Like what kind of stuff? What kind of names
are popular for us right now? It's like Ohtani, Judge, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, the goats, the Barry Sanders. There's a few that we're kind of speculating are next. Like Gretzky hasn't seen a pop yet, like things like that.
And what are we not as focused on putting in the showcase right now because of that? I'll go first. There's not a lot of Bowman prospect stuff in there right now.
Nope.
This NFL rookie class, we kind of stayed away from it. I'm sure right before the season starts, we'll lean in on a little bit of the newer stuff, but it's not a class that we're very, like, we feel like we can move very quickly.
Yeah. I mean,
what would be another, I'm trying to think through other parallels that cool off. Can you think of one that kind of died out?
Well, I mean,
excitement?
You said it a few minutes ago. Even downtowns, if they're not the right, like there was a window where you could sell a Josh Rosen downtown for $200.
Yeah.
Just because it was a downtown, it didn't matter. You could get $200 or $300 for a Desmond Ritter downtown. Yeah. There is a direct correlation right now, in our opinion, between whether the player or the name is relevant and whether they're going to sell. It's not just the parallel. There was a window where if it was a zebra, you were getting a minimum of $15 for it. It could be a guy who was a third offensive lineman, offensive tackle for a team, and you were still getting $15 for it. That's not the case anymore. And it's why it's so important to really know the not just the trends, but even the sports, and understand that sometimes a player can be a really good player in their sport and still not get hobby love and attention. Baseball is really crazy that way. There are 50 guys who make all-star teams every 2 years, and are 3+ WAR players. Hobby couldn't care less. Couldn't possibly care less, but they're still going to buy Jackson Holiday, even though he's hitting 200.
Well, and we're going to talk about this in a minute too, but you also need to be really careful on that when you're buying. That's where a lot of dealers early on fall prey to overpaying, because 2 of the 3 factors were there, right? Is it the new shiny stuff? Is it SP case hit, the right parallel? Is it the right name? Well, it's got 2 of the 3. Well, that one of the 3 is going to make that a very difficult card to move. You're likely overpaying. And a lot of people work in the room. There's a geography to this too. If you're in the back of the room and somebody is showing up to you with that card and several others, high likelihood, no guarantee, that this stack of cards has been to 20 other tables too. And a good question to ask is, why is it still here? Right. So just a filter. We're not telling you what to do, but pay attention to trends. Don't lean on comps necessarily for stuff that's cooled off big time or has been a long gap on.
Or now, that's the big one, the long gap on. Keith said it a few weeks ago. Just because there is a comp doesn't mean you have to buy it.
Right. But it can play to your advantage of like a
if it's
weird
the right names.
Griffey insert, a Bonds. Like there's some stuff right now that wouldn't scare me even a little bit. I'd be excited about it. Shaquille O'Neal is popping off.
Yes.
Like,
well, we bought that LeBron rookie at Columbus Card Fest, and we paid strong against the last direct comp, but that last direct comp was 4 months ago. And since then, the same card in 1 grade higher sold for 2.5 times that.
Yeah.
So it's like, understand that comps are a suggestion. They're not a Bible. And especially when a football card that hasn't sold since the middle of football season, that player was his hottest. If you buy based on that comp in June or July, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Yep. All right. You do number 5 here.
Number 5, be direct and honest about how you buy and what you're buying. Don't beat up the cards or bully the seller or bully the buy. This is something that you're really good at. So break this down.
So I'll give you an example of a story from Columbus Card Fest. We had a LeBron rookie patch that's numbered in a BGS slab walk up to us.
Yep.
Day 1, VIP, first hour, somebody walked up and we assessed the value of the card, and I made them, I think it was like a 83 or 84% offer. What do we typically offer, Gary?
We tap out at 80.
Typically tap out at 80%. LeBron stuff's on the rise. I think it's the right combo because it's a rookie, it's numbered, and it's already slabbed up. And honestly, I'm not scared of a BGS 9 on a thick boy that's 23 years old. You know, that's an older card.
8.5, no, not worried about it at all.
Those thick patch cards, we call them thick boys. Just to clarify.
With 2 C's.
With 2 C's. But those, anyway, so he was like, oh, I think people were going to offer me over 90%. I said, okay, here's all I'd ask. That percentage is what everybody's going to start with, but a percentage of what? So once you've walked the room, if we have the strongest offer, I'm just asking that you would give us a crack at that again. Well, guess who was at our table first thing?
Very first person we saw.
Next day.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I was surrounded with people advertising paying 91 to 95%.
Yep.
What happened? I was so direct. I turned Card Ladder around. We looked at the predicted value. We looked at everything. I gave them the full experience. This is exactly what I'm seeing when I'm looking at the card. I didn't talk about it BGS 9 being less desirable than a PSA 9. I didn't talk about the fact that, this hasn't sold in a while, so I don't know how liquid. I didn't play any of those games. I was like, LeBron's on the come up. Here's what I'd offer you. It's a pretty strong offer. And by doing it that way and not beating the card up and really liking the card, I think that's why that deal happened. And there was another buy like that at Columbus Card Fest where they came back, and then because that deal happened, here's 10 more cards. You want to crack at those too?
Yep.
And half of those I don't need the stronger percentage on.
Yeah.
Well, now we were playing in the 70s,
yeah,
which is a great place as a vendor to be. And they're comfortable there. They just want to go buy some more cards that they like. So
yeah.
I think it's really important. The thing that I see more people doing, so be honest and direct about buying. That's why the most powerful question you can ask before you go anywhere else. Somebody hands you the cards and you are interested. Hear me out. What do you want for the cards? Have you thought about what you want for the cards? Sometimes that number is there's no need to go any further. They're happy to cash out and start walking the room. They know there's a range on them, but they don't want you to say, well, it was 110 and then it was 90 and then it was 75 and then 95. You're losing them. There are some people you are losing them already. And they're like, dude, just give me a couple $100 here.
Yeah,
I think it's $300 or $400. Go nuts. Like sometimes just ask that question.
And sometimes it's just as simple as, what are the things that when somebody walks up to your table and they're trying to buy a card from you, drive you nuts? Just don't do that when people come up to sell you stuff.
Let's talk about beating up the cards or bullying the buy.
Yeah.
So like one of my pet peeves is like, if I have a raw card out there and somebody's like, can I look it over? Absolutely. I expect it, especially like these 90s Jordan inserts where sometimes a 7's a big multiplier, right? Go nuts. And they're like, I don't know, man. I don't think this will gem. I agree.
Yeah. What?
And I just leave it there. And they're like, oh, okay. If you do that when you're buying, where it's like, oh, the condition here and this and that, and we're not talking about a huge card that's like, we're not talking about a vintage raw mantle that's going to be graded, right?
Right.
We're talking about something in the last 5 to 10 years. Does anybody want you to just make your offer?
Yes.
You could just say, hey, based off of the condition, I'd be able to offer this, right?
Yeah.
And if they want to ask me what I'm seeing, now I'll show them that edge is rolled or there's a little crease on this, but the rest of the cards are blah, blah, blah. But bullying the buy is whenever you kind of tell that they really want to sell some cards and you just start beating up the cards to drive down the sticker value.
Yeah.
If you are somebody that sells at a table, there are people that say, hey, let's agree upon the value and then do a percentage. If that's what the seller wants to do, that's fine. But there's a lot of times where people are taking cards up to a dealer and they don't know that they've already been hustled out of 15% before the percentage ever is introduced.
Right.
And it does happen. It does happen all the time. You see a range of cards at 100 and 120, right? This is what vendors have a tendency to do. You see a card that sold for 100 and 120. When it sold for 100, it was the off season. Last sale was 123 months ago, and this is one of the hottest players in the league right now. That 120 is a very real number. It's probably worth 140. Card Ladder's suggesting 150. You're going to immediately, a lot of times, hear them say, well, I'd have to go off of the 100. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, you just got squeezed out of the $20 right there. Yeah. And now you're getting a percentage of that. So just be mindful. If you start playing the percentage game walking up to a vendor, they can play that game too. That's why sometimes it's just best to say, hey, what are you looking out of this? What do you want to get out of this?
The most powerful question you can ask as a buyer is, what do you want for it? Like, And like Jay said, sometimes, like, especially this happens a lot for us when somebody brings their case and they open up the case and we see a lot of top loaded stuff. And I always, hey, what kind of stuff do you have in here? Is it, well, mostly $10 to $20 stuff. Okay. And I'll look through the first little bit of it. And I always ask, hey, before I keep digging, do you have a number you want for all of it?
Yeah.
A lot of times they're like, oh, I have no idea. Oh, I can look it all up. Well, no need to look it all up. I'll just kind of cherry pick the things I'm interested in. Sometimes they go, yeah, I mean, give me $300. You can have it all. Do I get the case too? Oh, for another $40. Okay, cool.
Right.
Like, and again, just the transparency matters so much. Sometimes
you
it
had
costs us deals.
Right. Well, you finally had to tell somebody to kick rocks that I put on my no-fly list a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
And their whole thing is bully the buy.
Yeah.
Every single card. You want it, you want it, you want it. And then when it's time to talk numbers, well, I hate this card. I don't like this about the card. I don't like that about the card. It's not that liquid. It's not like, bro, you're at my table. Bye.
Yeah.
Right. What are we doing here? It doesn't work.
Yes.
I promise you that guy's frustrating more people than he is making happy at the show. And it's not going to work for him. He's probably more frustrated because it used to work and it doesn't. Don't bully the buy. All right. Number 6, do think about repeat customers. Don't lose a deal over $5. Gary, go ahead.
One of our mantras is relationships above everything in this business, right? Like, at the end of the day, nothing makes your life easier as a dealer than knowing that you have customers that are going to come seek you out because they know that you are going to have the kind of stuff they want and that you're easy to deal with. And that if you come their way, $5 on this one, they're going to come your way to $5 on the next one. And when you start to build those relationships, you can almost count on saying, hey, as long as these people are at this show, I'm going to be okay. And that'll lead to buys. It'll lead to sells. And understanding that you're building those relationships matters. And Jason's heard me say it 1,000 times to customers. Hey, hey, could you take 100 for this? It's tagged at 130. I don't think I could get there, but I would do 120 on it. Well, I think I could do 115. And usually I follow that up with is there any other cards that you're interested in? Because if there are, that's going to be a little easier for me to do. That's 4%. If there's not, and they don't get there and it's a card that I can do it on, I will say every time, listen, let's just get it done. I'm never going to lose a deal over $5. Next time we do a deal and we're $5 away, come my way on it.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they do. There just doesn't exist a world where the way money moves in this business that it makes sense to just cut your nose off to spite your face.
Yeah. I don't know that people think enough about repeat customers in this space. Because, there's a huge narrative about the singles market being completely and utterly held up by repacks. And while that is true to a lot of the single space, there are certainly lanes that are not like that. And
Correct.
I will promise you, the vendors that have been doing this 10, 20 years longer than us, that have a Rolodex of 50 repeat buyers with a PC that just buy what they like, probably do a lot better than the ones of us that are having to churn everything all the time. Even selfishly, to take care of those repeat customers is a more financially profitable model. Let me give you an example of this. And this is not just on a larger scale, on smaller scales. There's a local guy to the Ohio scene that has been trucking in dime to dollar boxes forever. And he sets up, friendly dude. I've known him as long as I've been at shows in Ohio. He reads his newspaper, and his regulars that look forward to it every month bring their $100, $50, $20, $10 every month to find him at a show to build a stack.
And they sit down at his table for hours.
Yes. They have decided, I go to shows to go to his table. Here's my $100 I'm going to spend at the show. I'm going to spend it at his table, right? Not a bad model on bulk. You think about this, sourcing that kind of stuff. If you have a lot of low end, now the labor of hauling that stuff in and out, that has to be a huge pain. Hopefully he's got a good trailer for that, right? But he's got the same regulars there, and they dropping. It doesn't take too many people doing that every month at your booth on stuff that you got for nothing for that to add up really quick, and they're happy.
That's the key. Everybody has a different business model, and if you can do $3 or $4 grand a week out of those kind of boxes, and you're only in those boxes for 300 or 400,
yeah,
that's a huge win. There's like, again, though, the
repeat customer, pay
Yes.
attention to that.
Yeah,
Pay attention to that.
you're developing clientele. It's just like any other business.
One thing that I try to do, which I'm not very good at this, but I'm trying to do a better job, is to remember something not related to cards about someone. So they showed up and they had like a weird Griffey hat on or whatever, or their kid's baseball team. And I'll ask what town they're from. Like, but being able to recall that when I see somebody at the next show is a personal touch that a lot of people overlook because it's so transactional.
Yep.
We're just making, 1,000 transactions in a show scene. So I think that's important there. All right. Number 7, right?
Yep. Number 7.
Do value your time, experience, cost, sell-through rate, expertise. Don't buy everything. Always buying does not mean buying everything. Know your weakness. Know what you need to stay away from. A lot going on in this one.
It is, but it's important. So one of the comments that popped through from all the thousands of people who thought that interaction with Kyle Cosmic Cards was real was, well, just change your sign. You're not always buying.
Yeah.
No, of course we're always buying.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean we're buying everything that walks up to our table. But we are always buying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars every single week that we are spending and buying. But part of that is an understanding that we are running a business and our time has value. The margin that we need for that equation to make sense is important. Mm-hmm. Understanding that, well, one of the things that when it comes to this type of stuff, when people walk up to sell you stuff, I think they don't get, we don't hear it as much, but for a while there, we were hearing, well, what do you mean you can't pay 90% on this? Repackers do. Well, one, we're not repackers. And two, you're right. Do you know any of them? Because if you don't, guess what? You're not getting 90% for this stuff.
And boy, what they're buying has sure
changed,
squeezed down.
Yes.
Yep.
And so
you and I have been at shows. Let me jump in. You and I
Yeah.
have been at shows where these guys they have traveled, they have flown in, they brought a lot of cash with them. And that morning they get an email saying, we're not buying any of this. We're not buying any of that. We're not buying any of this. And they looked through your showcase that they thought they were about to flip up for a couple grand that day. And they realized none of that meets the criteria. It's changing. It is changing. So if your model is entirely dependent on that, be sure you understand up that down line what they're actually sourcing, what's changing, what they're looking for. But yeah, that model has shifted in quickly.
By understanding that you have, and there's some assumptions I'm making here. Assumption number 1 is that you do this more than once a quarter. And it's not something that you just do for fun to like cars and coffee on a Friday morning, right?
Right.
That you actually do have some expertise. That's valuable. It's valuable to Jason and I, that especially on the boxes that are $1, $2, $3 boxes. There is a value to the fact that Jason puts so many reps into eBay that he is lethal in those boxes at finding the really nice stuff. But he had to work to learn that and earn that experience. There's value there. There's value that I know where and how to sell certain types of cards that other people may not know how to sell and buy. There's value to that. And I have to value that when I'm trying to buy it or sell it. And then sell-through rate's a big deal. If you are finding that you are increasing your inventory value on the regular, but you're either stagnant or losing traction on the amount of stuff that you're selling, then you're focusing on the wrong things. You may be looking at your inventory as a collection instead of as inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Jason and I have very concrete target metrics for what we want to sell against the value of our given inventory on any show. And to be perfectly frank, our business model requires it.
Right.
Like, it requires a certain sell-through rate at a certain margin to pay the bills.
Yep.
And those are metrics we talk about all the time.
Yep. It looms over us.
and that's why the second part of the don't is so important. You can't buy everything unless you get it so cheap. Like, I've told people, hey, I don't want you to be offended. I'll make you an offer, but you got to promise not to throw something heavy at me, because I don't really want what you have. Like, I'll give you $5 for that 4-row 1987 Topps baseball.
Right. Let me walk people through that. Let's just spell out one. So that's a good example. Somebody gives us a, hey, here's these 10 cards that you guys want, right? There's some stuff there, right? There's some stuff you're interested in. But I also need you to take this box. Now, there's X amount of cards in here. And even if you get 30 cents a piece, which, my goodness, the cheapest boxes are $1, there's easily $400 in here. There's one lie in all of that, and it's the word easily. It's not easily. It's a ton of hours. And so what happens sometimes when we first start growing and scaling out our business is we wanted to make this deal happen. So we took the box with it, because surely I can at least get my money back. If it takes you 30 hours of work to get your money back on that, how would 30 hours be spent sourcing this type of stuff with that same money and flipping it? So the thing we have to watch right now is with eBay Live and with Whatnot and live selling, we're going to have to always be careful, because our temptation is going to always be to bulk more, because maybe that $3 card will do 5, or maybe that $7 card will do 4. And we can buy some of these $20, $30, $40, $50 cards in the stack too, but it won't take too long. It happens every 2 to 3 months. We have to go through our boxes and say, all right,
4 or 5 rows sitting back here.
We thought we had 1,000 cards ready for live. We really have 600.
Yeah.
There's 400 of these that we've passed on for 2 months. There's a reason for that. So we lot them up. Well, now that we lot them up, people are getting a great deal on Whatnot, because that's the best way to move in bulk.
And we've also locked up cash for who knows how long.
And those lots are not going to you might be back to your 20 cents or 30 cents.
We ran a lot show a couple weeks ago that we were actually excited about, because we were like, this is actually some nicer stuff. Guess what? Didn't matter.
So people got some really good
yes,
deals.
Yes, they did.
Because that's what they're expecting in a lot. So just think through that. When it comes to expertise, that is not us saying that we know more about something than everybody else does. It's more about what isn't. So for us, we know, aside from 2 or 3 guys that are not already cemented greats in the NBA, we stay away from the speculation market on NBA.
Yep.
Should we spend some time learning that? Yes. But we are the last ones that are going to show up with a showcase full of maybe the next thing. Yeah. We're not doing that in basketball. Baseball, we're even hesitant on it. We've passed on so many Bowman autos from this year just because it's not that smart. Our expertise is, if Gary and I have individually sold 10 of those autos right after release, if it wasn't immediately, we were already up against our number, because that happens with the product every time, right? So take your time on that. Know your weaknesses. Know what you should stay away from. Don't apologize for that. And if sometimes you don't get this stack because you didn't take all of that, pat yourself on the back, because you still have all this money to buy right with.
Yep.
That you didn't spend on that lot. So,
exactly.
Okay. Number 8, do set up future deals, take down contact information, buy a PC gift for somebody that's a regular. Don't treat everyone like strangers. We touched on this a little bit, so I don't know that there's a lot here, but that piece about getting to know somebody, taking down contact info is huge. Because Gary, what do you and I do sometimes before we go to a show with some people that we met?
We reach out. Hey, we've got X, Y, and Z. Or, hey, I know the last time we talked, you said you were getting a submission back. Did that land? And if so, are you looking to move some of it? We'd love to set up a time to sit down and talk. That goes back to the point about relationships.
Yep.
There, you talked about a gentleman that reads his newspaper. We've got another friend named Nate who has been doing shows forever and ever and ever. He has some of the best value boxes you're ever going to find. And he's done all that just by building relationships in this space for 25 years. And when somebody needs to move a collection, he gets a call.
Yep.
And it works out well for everybody. But that's not something that happens unless you're doing things like we've got some friends that we met early on in our journey here. And they've become friends. Like we're going at the National, we're going to a baseball game with Craig, and got to know he and his wife through shows, both collectors, and got to know them pretty well and found out what some of their PCs were. And they did a lot of business with us, both buying and selling. And it was never hard. And we just liked them. And I remember buying a pair of either SGC or PSA 10 SSP Babe Ruths, and just gifting because I appreciated them and I liked them. And Craig has done the same thing, like return favors, whether it's giving a gift or cutting a better deal on something. When you build those relationships, everything gets so
the key is like
easier.
Actually building relationships.
Yes,
right?
it can't be what am I going to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be honest and real. But boy, if you could figure that out, it's awesome.
Now that we travel a little bit more, there are people that I have seen, but it's like twice a year, right? Let's maybe Nashville or somewhere a little further away. And if they're like, oh, you remember we did this? I'm honest to say, oh my gosh, I completely forgot. Thank you for be genuine and honest in that moment. Yes. And a lot of times you'll remember something as a result of that. But set up future deals, take down numbers, shoot a message ahead of time. The people, like the next iteration in our business, in my opinion, is there's one shift. Like the big shift we have to make over the next few months is we are a live selling card business that also sets up at shows. It's been vice versa for a long time. The step after that, I think, is we are a card business that is selling around the clock, meaning there are thread sales, there are consignment deals, there are live selling opportunities. This is happening not on a weekly, but on a daily basis. Stuff is churning, but that takes some scale. It takes inventory scale as well. But that's probably coming down the line as well. But don't, if you can avoid it, don't let anybody feel like a stranger. I think it's important. I think it's really important in the space. And one more sidebar. There have been a few people going through some stuff personally that it was a simple hello, how you doing at a show that opened up the door for them to get a cup of coffee and talk through some stuff going on in their life that I wasn't expecting. And it had nothing to do with money. Like it didn't make me a penny. It didn't make them a penny, but I made a friend. I think that matters. Number 9, you go, Gary.
Do care about your percentages. Don't obsess over it. Like there's a fine line. And this is something that Jason had to drill into my head because I'm the type of person that when I set a rule or a limit for something, I live by it. And you guys have heard me say a million times, if you've come up to us at shows, you've heard me say a million times, listen, we tap out at 80%. And now that we're together and joined, Jason usually taps out at 80%, but sometimes he goes, hey, we're going to have to take a chance on this one. And I'm going to pay more than that for it. And that's what my job is in this business. So you're just gonna have to trust me on it. And it's important to understand that, yes, you have to know what your numbers look like. You have to know what your percentages are, what you're buying and selling at. But if that becomes the only filter you use to make decisions, it's going to be rough in those streets.
Right. Let me give and here's the thing that a lot of people overlook. So let's say that these 2 little cards I have are an example of that. What is more common in an interaction, in a transaction where somebody has multiple cards, is for them to be like, hey, here's my stuff, right? Here's my stack of stuff. And what are you buying? And I'll take a look at everything. What do you have? Right. And then you get the first card that there's a story about, right? It's a kaboom. I pulled this myself. I see X, Y, and Z about this. I really want to get X out of this. A lot of dealers, if the sentence that they start with, if the person that walks up to you starts with that sentence and you don't like what they're saying, you prevent this from happening because you've created a tug of war over the percentage, because they're saying percentage. But sometimes if you can ride that out, even if it seems egregious what they're expecting, They go, this stuff, I don't care about this merino refractor as much. It's not, I've had this for a minute. I haven't been able to move. Matter of fact, like there's like 6 cards here. Like well, now because I didn't react or overreact or create a tug of war, they are more than happy bringing the margin here. And they don't care. In their mind, it mattered what this number was. So sometimes it's like, am I listening enough to what's happening to where I can make this whole deal happen? I don't want to lose this over this if this is a possibility. Now, if it's this and then this is the same story here, I really appreciate it. I just feel like we're maybe both playing the same game here. I just can't get where you need to be, but good luck with the sale, right?
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. But
No,
I think
not
a
at
lot
all.
of times people get stuck on the percentage on the one that's that's the most liquid card. Well, don't ignore the rest of the stack too.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think has helped me, because sometimes the people walking up with that card that's the $1,500 to $2,500 card that they want 90% on is the person that has a box full of $200 to $400 cards they don't care about.
Yeah.
They're happy to unload those and go buy more 2 to 4K cards with it.
Yep.
So take your time, hear out where they're coming from, care about the percentage. Like I'm not like this, like Cade Horton Kaboom. I'm not overpaying for that. I promise you. I'm not in a hurry.
If in the math of it, yes, maybe I paid 90% for that card, but everything else I paid 70% for, and I'm in the whole deal at 76% now. That's why cost averaging your deals is so valuable. Like to your point, don't miss the forest for the trees. And to an earlier point we made, ask questions and ask the right question. Hey, do you know what you want for this? Yeah, I need 92%. Oh, okay. How did you land on that? Where did you come up with that number? Like, ask a few questions, get a feel for it. And like Jason said, you may hear, oh, I pulled this one myself. It's the first Kaboom I ever pulled. I'm not even 100% sure I want to sell it.
Yep.
Well, that's really good information to have to understand the psychology of where the seller's coming from.
All right. Put your blue collar on, Gary. You ready?
Yep.
We're back in a garage.
Yep.
The customer's upset. Every time I click this button, the door won't go all the way up and all the way down. Well, 90% of the time, not all the time, but 90% of the time, the door's only going up a little bit and stopping. The spring broke.
Yep.
Gary knows that from his van before he's ever arrived on the property. But the homeowner is very certain that it's about this button. Sometimes you could show them, you can tell them, you can lift the door up and down, you can change the spring. At the end of the day, they want that button. Even if their remote was working. I don't know how many times it's been about the expectation coming in. So sometimes it was, well, what about this? If we take care of that spring, I'll go ahead and give you this remote for free because I think it's not the remote. Well, it's the remote, but go ahead and change the spring, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's about listening to where people are coming from first and caring about what they care about. And if you can't do that, it's going to be a tough business for you.
Yeah. The essence of sales and more importantly, relationships is understanding the person you're dealing with wants and needs and figuring out whether you can help them achieve those things.
Yeah.
And if you can, you're going to win. They're going to win. Everybody prospers.
Yep. All right. Last one. Do build relationships. Embrace who you are, your personality. Don't go out of your way to make enemies. Trying to be whatever each customer wants you to be. So building relationships, but being authentic in that. And then also don't go out of your way to make enemies. I think this is the reason, and other vendors scratch their head. Why do people walk up to you knowing that 5 tables down, they might get a higher percentage? I think it's relationships.
100% is. And I think it would be a little bit disingenuous of us to pretend that some of it doesn't have to do with the fact that we have a little bit of a platform too.
Sure. Absolutely.
We would
marketing, right?
Yeah. We would be completely disingenuous if we pretended that sometimes we don't get a better deal because people know who we are, because I think sometimes we do.
There's a lot of times,
but that's
they don't
not
care.
The majority of it. Yeah. There's a lot of times they don't care.
Times they're like, I don't care.
Yeah. I don't care who you are. I think that one of the things that I talk about a lot in my own personal life is I would much rather be respected than liked. And, because I feel like you have a much more even ground to work from. And that's why this point was a really big deal to me to make. Know who you are as a person And it's okay to be that person. There is an LCS, and it's been owned by the same gentleman for 40 years. And I like the guy, but I think almost everybody, including him, would say he's kind of grumpy. But you know what? You know what you're getting every single time, and it makes it really easy, right?
Yeah.
Like you just know, what the situation is to be, and there's a consistency there, and there's a respect because of that. If you're trying to change who you are and the way you interact based on the other person across from you, that is a big old tangle web to try to navigate all the time. And understanding who you are and being comfortable with who you are and the way you interact within this space and just leaning into that is going to be really valuable to you. It's something that's been a big help for Jason and I, because we have very different personalities in a lot of ways, and we complement each other on that front. There's a reason that Jason's in charge of buying for us at shows, and I'm in charge of selling for us at shows, because those things play into our strengths and who we are as people, and we don't have to try to pretend to be something that we aren't.
Right. Caveat with that, what Gary is not saying is if you are being yourself, but you cannot close deals because you end up pissing everyone off that comes up to your table, which we have been parked beside those vendors before. Oh, they were very in tune with who they were. The problem is who they were.
Yes.
So like the assumption here is that you're genuinely a good-hearted person with good intention.
Knowing who you are doesn't mean not improving yourself if you need to improve
I think
yourself.
that's a big key. I think there's a lot of vendors that, so it's a space where most guys don't even get a vendor's license. Most guys never set up an LLC. Most guys are just running cash, right? It's this thing where it's like, oh, I'm a vendor. Well, it's easy to say that and be there. There are some people that who you are and the way you encounter people is the problem. So I would say know who you are, but also pay attention to your numbers. And if you have a particularly bad show and you're saying that you may rub people the wrong way, did that happen more than often?
Yeah.
You know, it might be time to change some behaviors, you know?
Yeah. And you're not, now, again, there are plenty of people I know that I respect and do business with that I wouldn't go have a beer with. Right.
Right.
But there are very few people that I know and don't respect that I would go like to Jason's point. If you are having the same reaction from every person and every show, you're having the same struggles and the same problems.
It's you, bro.
Yeah, everybody walks away from the table upset. Like one of the goals Jason and I have is if somebody walks away from our table, whether they bought something, sold something, whatever the interaction was, we want them to walk away feeling good about having come to see the Ballcard show.
Yeah,
if at all possible.
Especially the ones where it's like, I think this is worth 400, and they're like, I think it's worth 400 too, and we just couldn't get to the middle on that.
Yeah,
like I want to make sure that they understand, hey, I really wish I could have grabbed that.
Yeah.
Totally understand. Good luck. Hey, here's 2 or 3 booths that pay a little stronger than me. Would
Yes.
you like me to walk you down?
Yes.
And I'll tell you, that one has left people scratching their heads so many times.
Yeah.
Our buddies, Twins and Friends, do low end on eBay. Well, we don't do that as much anymore. We had a guy that had a backpack full of that stuff. It was lower, but it was like numbered and good names and that kind of stuff. And I walked the whole backpack down and they figured out a little bulk deal. That guy came back to me and thanked me and offered me another buying opportunity on some bigger cards. So building relationships is important. That means that, what do I do? Tell you, I'm going to take a social lap. Is that what I say?
Yep.
I try every show, especially the 2-day shows now. Before the show gets started, if we're in place, I'm going to take what I call a social lap. I have programmed this into my thinking and my way of doing business that I want to touch base with the 10 to 15 vendors that I'm talking to on a regular basis and figure out how they are doing. Why? Honestly, selfishly, it brings me joy to stay connected to people doing what I love doing too. Yep. And I think there's a part of me that, I was a pastor for a while. There's a part of it where it scratches that itch of like, being invested in those relationships and encouraging people. So like that's become a habit for me. I'm going to take a lap. It is just as important to me as being set up and having pricing that I am continually working on those relationships. And Gary and I will tell you, if you're looking for a secret sauce, it is relationships over time.
Yep.
That is, if there's one nugget we can give you that has helped our business more than anything else, it's relationships over time. Not expecting, not demanding respect or attention before it's earned.
Yep.
But as it happens, fueling those relationships of people further ahead than us, people that are just getting started, looking up to us for advice or help, or sometimes it's people that challenge our takes of stuff that we really, confident in, and those cultivate relationships because of the pushback and a intelligent conversation around it. But I think that if there's any one thing Gary and I would say will impact your business more, it's relationships, because this whole business happens with people.
Yeah.
And maybe we're coming to a day where that changes, but this doubling down on the live selling shows me that I think that human interaction is going to be playing only a bigger role in this space going forward. So anything else you want to add to number 10, relationships, don't?
No, I think that we just gave a pretty solid rundown of the things that you can focus on and focus on avoiding if you want to be able to grow and scale what you're doing within the space. Like Jason said, we don't pretend that we're the end all be all or the experts on every single thing, but we've grown a business from nothing to something, and we're continuing to be able to scale and grow that. We continue to see the end results that come from putting a lot of this stuff into practice.
Yeah.
And we believe wholeheartedly that if more people put these types of thought processes into practice, that they will see results as well.
Yeah. We'd be interested to know, as you were listening to this, what's something that stood out to you? What's something you disagree with? What's a point that you would have added in that maybe we left out, do's and don'ts? But definitely drop a comment down below and let us know how you'd improve on this or something that connected with you. Gary and I say this about relationships all the time. We mean it. Shoot us a DM. If there's something you're working on, maybe you're just getting started and you have questions on a regular basis. We spend time helping people get their stuff set up and trying different things that might improve that. It's free. There's no class. There's no membership.
No course.
No grift. No course.
The caveat is that we do get really busy. So if we don't respond to you immediately, it takes a few days to get back to you. It's not because we're ignoring you. It's just because we've got a million things in the fire.
Yep. Connect with us on Discord if you haven't had a chance to do that yet. We do have this code for $20 off with Pristine Auction when you use the code Ballcard. It's a real $20 off. You can use it anywhere on their platform, on their auctions. There's a link down below. You follow that, Ballcard, and boom, you get the discount. eBay Live, very important note as we're wrapping up here. When you're searching for us on eBay Live, it is the Ballcard store. The Ballcard store, that store that I built out in my basement, 50,000 low-end cards. Was it 20,000 sales, something like that, 12,000 reviews. That is the platform that we're launching. So for those of you that are stuck in your basement shipping out $2 cards this week, if you'd have told me even 6 months ago that would be the platform that's launching eBay Live and those metrics mattered that much, everything you're doing right now matters.
Yep.
Just keep going, keep plugging along.
And we'll drop that link here too.
Yep, that's in here too. Any other commercials or ads or church announcements we have?
No. As always, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you, if you haven't subscribed yet, click that subscribe button, hit a like, throw a comment in here. Any of that stuff helps us in the old YouTube algorithm. And come see us at a show. We'd love to say hi. Like Jason said, we are traveling out further and further this year and into next year. We have big plans. So we hope to see you guys soon at a show.
Yep. This has been the Ballcard Show, the sports podcast.
For the Sports Collector.
Bye now.
Peace.